So will this housing market crash? Look, it's a question that's on everybody's lips right now. When the US economy began to implode in the late 2000s, a key component was the housing market totally overheated. Lending standards had been loosened and irresponsible mortgage practices created hyper-liquidity. Now, when those borrowers were unable to make those payments on those mortgages and were foreclosed upon, that sent huge ripples through the financial system. So with the robust market we've seen lately, are we in for a market crash like last time or not? This is Kiwi the Coast, your luxury real estate specialist, helping you maximize and sell the value of your coastal home. So let's dive in and get those questions answered. So let's look at the first point. Higher lending standards. So loose mortgage practices ultimately brought down some of the nation's biggest banks and mortgage companies. The fallout forced Congress and the federal government to make significant adjustments that have since fundamentally changed how mortgages are regulated. Since then, mortgage standards have been raised and the process of obtaining a mortgage is far more transparent. Actually, it's far more difficult. While borrowers must undergo rigorous income and asset checks, an entirely new regulatory agency, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, was created to enforce this new regulatory framework, and lenders that don't comply can face huge penalties. As a result, the housing financial market is far more robust than it was 15 years ago. Any dip in the housing market is going to be cushioned by these stricter regulations. Let's look at point number 2, this pandemic mortgage forbearance. When the housing market crashed in late 2008, the influx of foreclosures pumped housing supply into areas with falling home prices and weak job markets, while also preventing those foreclosed upon borrowers now being buyers re-entering the market. According to the Federal Reserve, foreclosures in a time of high unemployment depresses prices, plunging homeowners across the country deeper into negative equity. However, in the pandemic era, the effects of mass unemployment bear little resemblance to the Great Recession, thanks in part to the forbearance programs that have allowed homeowners who've had difficulty paying their mortgage defer mortgage payments without penalty. Now, as of March 2021, approximately 2.6 million homeowners have been in forbearance. As the pandemic economy has slowly recovered, many of those homeowners have been able to resume employment and therefore catch up with past due mortgage payments. By the end of 2020, mortgage delinquencies had dropped by 5.8% thanks to the mortgage forbearance programs. Point number 3 is, what about the homeowners' equity that they have in their homes today? We all know home values have increased across the US. So why does this matter? Well, simply put, higher levels of equity cushion homeowners from default when property values fall. Over the past decade, American homeowners have enjoyed stability and growth, building up huge reserves of equity in their homes. In the third quarter of 2020, the average homeowner in the US had about $194,000 of equity in their home. And the average homeowner has gained approximately $26,300 of equity in the past year. By contrast, in 2009, a quarter of the nation's mortgage homes were valued at less than the mortgage balance on their homes. Hey, point number 4, price growth is expected to slow. I mean, this cannot go on forever. The sales boom following the outbreak of COVID-19 in March 2020 surprised many economists. Like most other business sectors, real estate was expected, if not required to, lock down during this period. Through the remainder of 2020, those interest rates stayed below 3%, and existing home sales soared to their highest levels in 14 years. The combination of solid sales and depleting supply drove the nation's median existing home price up over $309,000. That's up 12.9% from December 2019, marking 106 straight months of year-over-year gains. The multi-year run on significant price increases is likely to end, but inflationary pressure on entry-level homes is likely to remain until relieved by new home construction. So what's the takeaway here? Well, the economists are predicting that we're going to still see price increases here in 2021 between 3 and 8%. That's a significant drop from the price increases in 2020, but nothing like the drop in prices that we saw in the last crash. So what's the bottom line here? Well, no one can predict 100% what's going to happen in the real estate sector. The experts are predicting a dip, but not a crash. How do you protect yourself? Well, it's important to stay informed on market trends, consumer sentiments, and experts' insights. Hey, I hope you found all that information valuable, and we'll see you on the next video. The Room.